Welcome back to the show. It's Dogg and Casio.
You woke me up.
You're listening to I noticed that.
Oh, you didn't know? But that's kind of like what they did before we went out in the 90s. It was like, hey, wake up. And I go, oh, you didn't know?
Was it?
Yeah, that was how we warmed up.
Oh, is it my time to scream? All
I'm
entrance,
sorry.
baby.
Ah, suck it.
What is going on, my man?
Nothing's going on. I got the same shirt on as I did like a week ago.
Look, we are
2 weeks ago.
We're coming off a fun episode with your buddy. I call him Mr. Sean Waltman, X-Pac 6, 1, 2, 3, whatever you want to call him. You call him
Kiddo Bambito.
But man, that was super fun to watch y'all catch up, brother.
It didn't feel like I was working. That's for dang sure. It was awesome just to spend some time with him. Because look, me and him are that friends that we don't have to talk every day. We don't have to see each other every day. But that love is still there, and it's known both ways. And so it's really super cool to get to catch up with him. And just talking to you guys afterwards, y'all felt like it was cool too to be a fly on the wall while we just shot the breeze a little bit, and so super cool. I look forward to having him back on because we just got to the good stuff, to the chocolate in the middle. So we'll come back with X-Pac for sure.
Also, hang out at the end of this episode. We're going to tell you next week's guest. We got double guest for you this month.
Oh, double guest.
We're going to announce that at the end of this show. Dog, everybody is talking. You're with a company some people have heard of. It's called WWE.
Yeah.
A lot of people going, pretty much ham because your boy CM Punk is back, man.
Yep.
Look, if people are regular listeners of this show, they know.
Yeah.
You said many months ago, and this was, you had zero concept that he was coming back.
Right. Zero all the way up until his music hit, like we covered. That's just the truth of it.
But you said then, somebody asked you, and I asked Dog anything, who would move the needle coming back, and you said CM Punk is the only person out there that could come back at this time and move the needle, in your opinion. And if you've seen ratings and seen everything else,
merchandise and all of the above,
I think y'all broke social media record. I'm not sure the exact wording, but it was like most engagement in an hour or something.
Yeah, and his video was the most viewed.
Yeah, something insane.
I think ever in the history of ever.
Something was insane. But it's clearly moved the needle so far.
The needle has moved, and. I don't know. To me, it's just more of the same awesome ever since Hunter's been in charge of content, of creative content. You know what I mean? So it's just one more thing that was just like, you wanna be the best. This is how you do it. You know what I mean? Super cool to be involved, but not so involved that I still am surprised when the music hits and you go like, oh my God. So it was super cool to see all that. And then of course on from a business standpoint, business is a booming, and his addition to the roster is only going to help that.
We should tell everybody as we get to the end of the season here, end of the year, we usually record our episode's pretty close to drop date, sometimes day of, sometimes day before, which I think is a good thing. It keeps us very current.
Yep.
We will be recording some a little bit ahead because, Dog, you're back on the road a little bit, man.
Well, I'm getting a little busier, and so there was a void, a temporary void in leadership at television going forward a little bit. And it's not a big deal, but they just need somebody to sit in that chair. And I've sat in it before, so it's going to be fun to do again. I'm a little nervous about it because I hadn't done it in a while, but like I said, it's live TV. There's nothing better to me than rehearsing what you need to rehearse, doing what you need to do, and knowing going into that hour and a half where you get out of there, the people come in, we start the show, now you're in the frying pan, and to me, there's no better fix in the world than running through that 3 or 2 hour live wrestling show where there's so many things that could go wrong if you just get through the daggum thing without, without anybody pooping their pants. I think you've done your job.
For the foreseeable future, you won't be on commentary, but you'll be there, right?
Yeah, and I'll be wearing this shirt on the podcast for the foreseeable future because we're recording a couple today.
So if you see it in a couple weeks, you'll know.
Just know I got a new sponsor.
The magic that is behind the scenes. All right, let's get into this. First, let's kick it off. Meme of the week. We have no idea what our producer Dom is going to throw up. Just to put us in a good mood, what do you got for us, Dom? Me walking into work knowing there's a girl out there making $47,000 a month selling feet pics, and it's a picture of Doink with a beer, walking out sad.
He's just drunk. He's just, the tears of a clown.
What's your interactions with that Doink?
He was a
lot
bad
of Doinks
dude.
Out there.
He was a bad dude. That was Matt Bourne, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was a bad apple. I just said hey to him and was nice around him and never crossed him.
Really?
Because I didn't know. Like he was. You
mean like shoot tough guy?
Yeah. He was one of those Buzz Sawyer types. You know what I mean? Where I don't know if you're gonna take a bite out of me or not.
Hey, speaking of, by the way, I hadn't heard that name in years. Buzz Sawyer.
Buzz Sawyer. Ooh.
I just had an episode with our buddy Nick Patrick over on Ad Free Shows.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard his story of?
You're laughing before you even tell me what the story's about.
Did you ever meet Buzz Sawyer? I should ask that.
I have met Buzz Sawyer.
Did you know he had a Rottweiler?
Yes.
Nick Patrick said he gave that Rottweiler steroids.
I've heard this story.
Did you know that Undertaker took it from him as collateral?
Wait, took it from him like as a what?
Buzz Sawyer was supposed to train Taker, and he stiffed him and no-showed after he'd already got the money. So Taker went to his house trying to get the money, and Buzz dodged him every time. So finally, Taker went over there and took the Rottweiler, and Nick said, dude, it's the meanest dog I've ever met. He's on steroids. What? How did you steal his dog? He goes, well, I mean, he was grumpy at first, but he's fine. Hey, he ended up keeping that dog till it died. It was like the best family pet he's ever had. Did you know that?
I did not know that part.
That is fantastic.
A lot of guys gave their dog.
A lot of guys what?
Gave their dogs
steroids. Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Well, look,
Taker stealing your dog.
The 80s were a crazy time.
We might need to do a whole episode on Buzz Sawyer.
Yeah.
He was a legit bad dude as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think that he did a lot of cocaine. They maybe were just scared to death of him because he was geeking.
He was a loose cannon.
But he was a loose cannon, and he was a bad dude. And look, go back and watch him work. You know what I mean? Like, it was great.
Check out that full story, by the way, over on Ad Free Shows where I do the bi-monthly. I don't know if that's the correct word. I know Dog's going to play me and Patrick are hugging and kissing if that's the case.
Well, it's bi-monthly. That's what I do my OnlyFans on, is bi-monthly.
But Nick's got some great stories.
I have try quarterly, which is I'm rubbing my stomach as I speak.
I'll try anything. All right, let's get into this. Dog, we're talking about TLC from 5 years ago. 2018 took place in San Diego.
Oh,
you know what that stands for?
Yes,
I knew where you were going.
You know me too well. No,
we're coming off Survivor
does
Series.
Not mean that.
By the way, random fact I was going to share with you.
Yeah.
I might need to save it for. I'm going to save it. Save it.
All right.
We're coming off Survivor Series, which you covered last month. We're building towards WrestleMania. Did you know what you were doing for WrestleMania at this point? Have you already got that pretty much in the bag?
Excuse me, we're leading into TLC. So I think the correct answer
coming off
is
Survivor Series, and we're going to TLC.
excuse me, a bug went right in my throat. I'm on my motorcycle right now. No, so I want to say yes and no, because you always know, you always have that goal in sight.
Kind of a shell.
But man, it don't say card subject to change for no reason, because things happen. You know what I mean? Like when there's, you know, so yeah, you have plans, but you know, man plans and God laughs.
The big story is, will it be Charlotte or Becky Lynch main eventing against Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania? Yep. And the rumor and innuendo is it was originally going to be Charlotte, but after the performance of Becky in recent weeks, a decision is made to have Rousey take on Becky and Charlotte. What do you remember about this time frame and going in that direction? Does that sound correct?
Yeah, it does sound correct. And look, I think it was sometimes, and LA Knight has done this lately, you become so undeniable that it's obvious when they're trying to deny you. You know what I mean? It's so I think it was obvious during this time, and I think it was the right decision too. You don't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, we got some plans, but hey, this star started shining bright really quick. I think it was the right creative decision, and I thought it was a heck of a match too.
On the road to TLC, a special house show called Starrcade was put on in Cincinnati, Ohio, and aired on the WWE Network.
Yep.
It's a dual brand show with Raw and SmackDown. How did this show come together?
So I remember, yeah, I do remember. I remember it being a bigger deal, but then it kind of got down to where it was just kind of a televised house show. And it was one of those things where we were trying to do premium live events, we called them, and it was just a filmed live event. But look, our live events are great wrestling, if I say so myself. And so it was where we were trying stuff and trying to, how do we give our viewer more bang for their buck, you know what I mean? And so it was just going down the avenues of let's try different things. And so it was one of those things that I remembered it kind of ended up being just a really cool house show or live event, as we call them. And so I don't know where the name Star, I don't know why we use that name. I don't know why it hasn't been used again since. I don't know kind of the ins and outs of that, you know.
It was very interesting. I was going to say, surprise Starrcade. For those watching on YouTube, there's a poster right over my shoulder. I don't know if you can really make it out what's on the screen, but it is, that's a Starrcade 83 with Harley Race, Ric Flair. That's interesting that name hadn't been used much. Yeah, it's got such history to it.
I agrey. And look, maybe they will. Maybe they'll use it again.
Were you at that Starrcade show?
I was not. I was not. It was I was heavy on the road and in the thick of things.
Okay, the Mix Match Challenge, not Micmac Challenge. That's on our
that's different. That's a different thing. It's on my OnlyFans show.
The Mixed Match Challenge is a big part of this build, as the two remaining mixed tag teams will face off at TLC to determine the winner of the tournament and who would be the 30th person in both Royal Rumbles.
I actually forgot that was the stipulation of the thing.
Did you?
Yeah, and when I read the notes earlier, I was like, oh yeah, they each got to come in at number 30. Like that's
huge.
It is huge. It's a huge advantage for number 30. So I don't know. Some would say that books you into a corner. I could see that argument, but I also see we were doing this mixed match challenge. It's
hard to say. Thank you.
It's very difficult. They're very difficult to say. In integration with Facebook, or I think it was Facebook.
It was on Facebook,
so we were trying to give them something with some stakes on it, and that's huge stakes to be number 30.
By the way, it would come down to Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox taking on RTruth and Carmella at TLC. So I'll mention them while we're here. First, the video is going around of when RTruth accidentally beat Shinsuke for the U.S. Championship this week. So good. But I bring that up. How good together was RTruth and Carmella, man? They were fantastic.
I mean, it was so great too, because they could, They did the dance break and everything. Like, it was just so fun to watch them together. Look, Truth is fun. I've always said this. Like, he's got the Midas touch, man. No matter what he touches, turns to gold. He's got some music out now that he's dropped too that you could find on his social media accounts. But like, they were so fun to watch, and it was so cool to just see. What are you laughing at? What did I do?
Him. Yeah. Him back. He just came back. Which, first of all,
congratulations coming back.
And his segments with. The cake
they're hilarious.
A few weeks ago, and I was like, hey, can I be your partner at War Games? And Fergal McDivitt's like, we've already did that. He just kills it, man, every time.
I love one time, I forget where it was, we had him just run down to the ring and pull a ladder out and put it in the ring and start to set it up. We climbed up to the top, he got up there, there was nothing up there. He just came back down, closed it, got out of the ring, slid the ladder back up, and ran to the back. And it was just like, Truth thinks there's, oh man, it's just to me, the crazier the better. So he's great, man.
Dom, now that we're talking about this, go back in the archives. If you listen to the show, you know me and Dogg are a fan of Jinder Mahal. That has been said. We personally love Jinder Mahal and what he's done. Yep. Also, we haven't brought her name much up on the pod, Dogg, when I've been hosting. Yep. Alicia Fox. And you tweeted a few weeks ago, she had a great moment with Jordan Grace where they were at a convention, and she was talking about how big of a fan she was of Jordan Grace. And Jordan was getting emotional.
Yeah, she was about to cry.
But you talked about, you wanted to bottle that. So talk about your relationship with her.
Her energy is infectious. Like, she has that, like, she's kind of all over the place too, but with a totally positive vibe straight into you. You know what I mean? Like, she talks to your soul, and she's smart and borderline genius sometimes in my mind. It's just I wish I could bottle her up. But what made me say that was how cool she looked in the video. You know what I mean? She looked like Steven Tyler, but good looking. You know what I mean? And that dude does not look like a lady. That is all a woman. But that's what I mean. Like, she just has this positive energy and a ton of it, and I love it. You know what I mean? So yeah, kudos to her because she's doing well, and I'm proud of her.
Also building up with the Raw side of things, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, with the Dean Ambrose heel turn after Roman Reigns was diagnosed with leukemia and had to get that taken care of. What do you think of the heel Ambrose during this?
I love how we just threw under the rug that Roman had leukemia.
We covered it before. We've covered it before.
We have. I'm just messing with you.
Yes, we did.
We did just run past it.
The champ just beat leukemia.
Well, he had to take care of that. But
he's going to kick out later. We know the ending.
And he did. Thank God.
Yes.
And look, I think that was, sometimes stuff happens that forces your hand creatively, and you go. And there could be a million other ways, but sometimes you go, this is the only way we can do it. We got to turn him heel. You know what I mean? And you go, and here, that's what we got to do, and we got to do it now, and here we go. And so, okay, and I'm not saying that's what happened here, but we're going to get into talking about Dean Ambrose as a heel, and truth be told, I liked him better as a babyface. You know what I mean? Yeah, I just think he's a better babyface. Excuse me, and I've said this a million times, and nobody ever remembers it but me. He was in a backstage, and I think it may have been Kane, and it was like the corporate. I forget who all was in there, but they were beating up Dean Ambrose, and he's getting his butt kicked, and they all stop, and he kind of looks up and he goes, "Is that all you got?" And they just beat the crap out of him some more. I thought, that's my guy. You know what I mean? That's my guy. That's Bruce Willis. That's, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's cool.
That's awesome.
And so that's how I always saw him, as this Brian Pillman-esque, off the wall. What's going to happen? Dean Ambrose, this crazy dude that, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I saw his character, but I didn't like it as a bad guy. I like him as a good guy. You know what I mean?
Braun Strowman is trying to get another shot at Brock Lesnar after Crown Jewel, and is doing his best to gain a shot by going to Raw General Manager Baron Corbin. It would turn him into having to go above his head to Stephanie McMahon. Corbin and Braun would face off at TLC in the TLC match for the shot at the title. These are two big dudes, not typical for a TLC match. What did you think of them having to work a match like this, dog?
Well, so it's apparently, or obviously, when you hear it, you go like, wait, what? Braun Strowman's
right?
But then you go like, okay, well, stop thinking about that and think about now how we're going to execute this. You know what I mean? Let's take that extra creative challenge and go, let's make this make sense. And I'm going to be quite honest, I don't remember the match itself. I could go back and watch it and tell you whether they did that or not, in my opinion. But I think anybody could be in a TLC match. I just think you have to construct it in a way that makes sense for you if you're a huge dude. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be some strength, some strongman stuff in there, picking up a ladder with the dude on it or something. You know, there's got to be stuff that's character based and reality driven. I'm not going to dive off the top rope and land on your back on the ladder and climb up over you because I'm 315 pounds. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think it's just you got to take that extra creative step and go, how do we execute this to make it all make sense? The tables, the ladders, and the chairs. Oh, my.
Nia Jax won a battle royal to earn an opportunity at the Raw Women's title against Rousey at TLC. When you look back, 2018 here, was Nia putting in her best work at this point?
Yeah, and I think she was, and I know that'll anger people too. But you know, it takes two to tango, and that ain't just a saying that wrestling came up with. Like that's you know, Fred Astaire had ginger, and Clint Eastwood had that orangutan that punched people when he turned right, apparently. But so it takes two. I don't know. I was thinking about that movie, Every Which Way But Loose.
She's putting in her best work. Are you happy to see her back in WWE?
I am definitely happy to see her back. For one, I love her. She's a sweetheart of a person. She's fun to be around. And she has a good energy too. And so, I don't know. Yeah, I'm happy to see her back because, look, she's a person that you could put up against the champion, any champion at any time, and there's concern there. You know what I mean? Like she's a formidable opponent to anyone. And that goes for anyone. You know what I mean? As you can see here.
All right, dog. I know we're right here at the holidays and spending money is on top of everyone's mind. You're figuring out, hey, got a lot of Christmas stuff to buy. Got a lot of stuff to get through. I just, you know, New Year's is coming up.
Do I really need that new robot that looks like a woman? You know what I mean?
First of all, send me the link. Second of all, here's what you're not thinking about. You're not thinking about your health and your health insurance because nobody wants to think about that. One, it sucks. It's confusing.
Yes, it sucks.
It's expensive.
And it's frustrating.
That's the word everybody comes up with.
Lord
is frustrating. So stop sending money to big insurance companies that profit off of you not paying your bills. 48 million claims on Obamacare last year were denied. That's 1/5. 1 out of every 5 that were going to get rejected. You do not want to take that chance. There's a better way. Welcome to the alternative. And welcome our friends, Crowd Health.
Crowd Health.
Created to get rid of the headaches of health insurance. For $175 for an individual or $575 for a family of 4 or more, you're going to get access to a community of people who are willing to help out in the event of an emergency. You'll also get telemedicine visits, discounted prescriptions, and more. All this without doctors' networks getting in the way. Let Crowd Health help you with your healthcare needs. You can get started today for just $99 a month for the first 3 months when you use the code WRESTLE to get the health care you deserve. Crowd Health is not insurance. Learn more at joincrowdhealth.com. That's joincrowdhealth.com. Use the promo code
WRESTLE
and get started today for just $99 per month for the first 3 months. And we thank Crowd Health for being a sponsor of Oh You Didn't Know.
Thank you, Crowd Health.
And coming right up after our show today, you can hear an interview Conrad Thompson did with Andy Schoonover, the founder of Crowd Health, to hear more about this new alternative to health insurance. That's coming up right after the show. Just stay tuned right here. And one more time, that site is joincrowdhealth.com and use code WRESTLE to get started today for just $99 per month for the first 3 months. And we thank Crowd Health for being a proud sponsor of Oh You Didn't Know.
All right, Dog, back to TLC, and we're leading up to it. Daniel Bryan's heel turn took place at Survivor Series, and the transition of Bryan to this heel character was tremendous. How involved was he in the role, and did he relish it?
He was very involved in the role, he being Daniel Bryan, and he did relish in it. Yeah, he was, and look, especially when we started doing the Eco Warrior kind of champion with the hemp title and all that.
Hated him so much.
That's so good. It was, so he was all in, and man, I wish I had that title. I don't know if they make replicas of the hemp title, but
they did at one time. I don't know if they still do. But.
I'd love to have that. Because I didn't think that was going to be possible. And when we found out that it was possible, and I went and said, hey, we found out we can do this, but it's going to cost $2,500 or so. You know what I mean? Like it was under $5,000, whatever the price was. And I remember like,
Bessie the cow.
You got to do that.
Bessie the cow was great. Who came up with the idea? Do you remember of the hemp title?
Steve Guerrero, a guy named Steve Guerrero.
Nice.
And he was my co-lead writer with Johnny Russo at the time. Man. And it was great stuff. And when you hear stuff like that, you go like, okay, that's something I'll fight for. You know what I mean? And so we didn't have to fight hard. But that was great stuff. So I thought he was really coming into his own. It was really a great thing to make you go like, yeah, hey, what's he talking about, man? I wanted to see him wrestle, you know.
But it was instant heat, buddy.
It was making me feel bad because I was like throwing my water bottles away. Like it was, I'm a horrible person.
The new Daniel Bryan will be taking on AJ Styles at TLC in their title rematch. I mean, whatever event you want to put them on, these two can go with each other, brother.
It doesn't matter if there's a title at hand. It doesn't matter. Just put them in the ring and ring the bell. And you got yourself 30 minutes of hard-hitting, just meat on meat, just men in tights. This could not sound any more. Anyway.
Becky and Charlotte were announced as fighting for the SmackDown.
Becky and Charlotte, boo.
Women's Championship and the other TLC match before Asuka is added later on. These three in this type of environment is different. Looking back at it now, do you think they stepped up to the challenge?
Oh, yeah. Oh, heck yeah. Yeah. No, these three tore the house down that night. Yeah. And still doing it, by the way.
I was about to say.
Any time of the week, any time on live events that you see the WWE coming and their names are on there, they're going to do that. I watched them not long ago at a live event in a triple threat, and it was Becky wasn't in there. It was Asuka and Charlotte and I forget, but man, I forget who the other girl was now. They had a triple threat that was pay-per-view worthy, and I was just like, this is a house show and wherever we're at, and they just put on 25 minutes of wrestling clinic. You know what I mean? Like they've been good for a long time now, and they were really good this night too.
The Bar would defeat the New Day on SmackDown 1000 to become tag team champions and split from Big Show after. Dog, when you look back on it now, was Paul Wright having issues with his injuries then, or what do you remember about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's had issues with his hips. I don't really remember if that was an issue then or if it was just a creative decision, and I just don't remember that. But, yeah, he always has had issues, with his hips and stuff. He's just had some recent surgeries that were successful, so hopefully he's feeling better.
Eventually the Usos would get involved, and you had three of the best tag teams in the WWE all fighting to be SmackDown tag team champions. Yeah. That's just a special time right there.
Yeah, with these three teams specifically, to me, raised the bar, no pun intended, again, because look, I feel like tag team wrestling got upped by the Dudleys and the TLC matches and that kind of stuff. Like
Hardys.
The Hardys.
Christian and Edge.
Yeah. They raised the bar. You know what I mean? And it was like, whoa. Thank God we already had our run because I'm not doing anything. And but like they raised the bar. I feel like at that time in this SmackDown era, there were some strong tag team wrestlers going down. So I don't know. I love these three teams. The classic.
Also, as we get ready, putting Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio together after Rey returned. Man, these two great wrestlers who knew what they were doing. They're able to accomplish it every single night.
Yep.
This had to be fun to put these two together, right?
Yeah,
it's
it is natural. And look, when you're doing episodic television this week in and week out, and the demand is high to put on the best show and to get viewer, ratings and the whole deal. And so you're working hard. When somebody comes back like Rey and you don't have to really work 3-4 weeks to start them into anything, like you can just. And the truth be told, you could do that with Randy and anybody who's been around for a while. Is they could be in the ring and Randy slides out from under the ring and hits him with an RKO out of nowhere, and you're into a story. You know what I mean? And now you can start. So I don't know. It's always a pleasure when you're working so hard week in and week out to get something that kind of writes itself. You know what I mean? To get something that kind of takes care of itself on its own. We'll let Randy cut some cool heel promos. We'll Ray will work on TV and have great matches and. So I don't know. It was an easy fit.
By the way, we're a few weeks now into Randy Orton being back on TV, which is always awesome. And if you haven't heard it, go back to our YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel over at bagofjohnsons.com. And one of our recent YTX's YouTube exclusive videos, I encourage everybody to go back. You talked about Randy as soon as he came back and how excited you were and what he brings to the table. We all know how good he is, but I encourage everybody to go to our YouTube, bagofjohnsons.com.
Look, and I'll briefly say again, I don't know that I said this on there, but I'll say it, and I've said it before. I think he's the best television wrestler at 40, however old he is, still. And I'll argue with anybody in this industry or any other about that, because I firmly believe that he's super cool. He's methodical in a slithery way. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing not awesome about Randy Orton.
Best TV wrestler now or ever?
So I'll tell you who was really good way before his time, but nobody knew what we were doing. Well, Vince and crew did, but nobody else really did. Jake the Snake was a great television wrestler. Worked the audience through the television screen, and that's what Randy does, man. Randy's head and shoulders above the rest, and he's one that was trained under the learning tree of The Undertaker and Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels and all these guys, man. He came up with Cena and Batista and all them guys.
And the family legacy to boot.
Yeah. Like it's
incredible, man.
Yeah. The Viper and the Snake, huh?
Ooh.
That's a new children's book I'm writing.
The Viper and the Snake?
Yeah. The Viper bit the baby. Sorry. Yeah, it's terrifying, the book is. It's not for kids.
To stomp on the Viper's head, turn to page 4. To cut off his head with a hoe, turn to page 5. All right.
Which way do you want to?
Let's get to the show, dog, from the Observer.
Oh, you mean the wrestling show?
Yeah, we're going to get
I thought you were talking about our podcast.
No, we've been doing that for 35 minutes.
Oh, we're on.
Yeah, we're on.
Good.
Let's get to the show from the Observer. WWE's final pay-per-view of the year, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, features 2 of the main roster's best matches of the year. A New Japan-style match where Daniel Bryan kept the WWE title over AJ Styles.
Who was writing this stuff? Okay, no. You know what? Forget that. Go ahead. AJ Styles, New Japan, Daniel Bryan.
It was
can.
Wherever you are on everybody's screen, it was that guy right there.
Lemonade round the corner. Fudge's bag. Anyway, I don't know.
He said a New Japan style match where Daniel Bryan kept the WWE title over AJ Styles and Asuka winning the SmackDown title, women's title in a TLC match over Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair due to interference from Ronda Rousey. All right, first of all, with that being said, these women would end up main eventing, and when we go through the card, it kind of shows the strength of them because it's a damn good card, man. Yeah,
it's a stacked card.
Yeah.
And look, they were on top of it. And
they held up their end of it, too.
You're dang right they did.
Yeah.
You're dang right they did. And that's, it's crazy to think that 5 years ago, we were having a conversation, like, because it should have been happening 55 years ago, and it probably was, and I'm just dumb. But like, what if we have 2 girls matches back to back? What if you know what I mean? Like, it was we were talking about, where do the girls matches go? Is it okay if the girls wrestle and then another girl wrestles after that? You know what I mean? Like, we never said that about the dude. So I don't know. It opens my eyes to a lot of crap. And makes you think, like, why wouldn't women pay-per-view if they were of the appropriate star power and storyline and everything? And they were the hottest thing going. You know what I mean? So it was, rightfully so, man. Rightfully so. I don't want to be as old as I am inside my head.
But
the viper and the snake. You know what I'm
saying? Before we get into the matches, let me ask you this, because this is from a fan's perspective. I've not booked, written, performed in any, not 2 seconds of any wrestling show. But this show has 12 matches.
Yeah.
And goes 5 hours between pre-show. Yeah. Is that too long in your mind?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not just us at home going,
No.
Freak,
it's too much.
This is long. Okay.
It's too much. That's all there is to it.
Are y'all sitting there that night going, guys, we're going along, or are you just having to deal with it? What's happening?
Yeah. No, we know it's going to be 5 hours. There's 5 hours of content. We time it specifically. Right. Like, so going in, like, we got 5 hours? Like, and look, that's the mission, right? That's what you get. You get your orders from the top.
They said fill 5 hours.
You carry out the mission. Okay. That's not debatable. We ain't.
You're not going, hey, Cass, can we do 4?
It might have been at one point, but by the time we get there, all the debating's done. You know what I mean?
Somebody has made a decision, right?
Yeah. Okay. And you're charging that machine gun bunker, and that's that.
All right, here we go.
If you don't live or work like that, then you wouldn't fit in here.
Let's get to the matches. First match, Buddy Murphy retained the Cruiserweight title over Cedric Alexander in 10 minutes, 24 seconds, Considering this started 30 minutes before anyone expected the show to start and is a Cruiserweight match, and got over really well with the crowd. They were genuine, loud 205 chants very early on. It was hard-hitting and pretty much the match you'd expect, although not at the Australia match level.
Oh, interesting.
Alexander's right shoulder was all taped up, lots of good moves, and the crowd that got up for the near falls, Alexander hit the lumbar check, but Murphy rolled the ropes. Murphy then dropped Alexander into a turnbuckle, hit the V-trigger, and Murphy's off for the pin. 3.5 stars.
Wow. So I don't know what any of those moves are or those stars mean.
Yeah.
But those 2 guys can go. And they, every time they ever met, they went. And it is hard hitting, and they do great moves, and all of the above. So yeah, kudos to those dudes. I would put them in a ring together every time I could, because they were good together.
From your, whatever we call it these days, 5,000 foot view, 10,000.
Yeah.
From the drone view.
Yeah.
As we talk about it here at the end of 2023, we mentioned loud 205 chants from the crowd.
Yeah.
205 Live did not end up being a success. Why do you think it sometimes didn't connect now? Maybe hard to put the finger on, but
it is hard to put your finger on because it was
great wrestling.
Again, another thing where you go, look, there's so many people out there who are great, who are under 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, look at both rosters right now are just chock-a-block full of them. And so I think it was an opportunity to get that kind of talent, and smaller than the normal WWE talent, on WWE programming and get them under contract and get them. I don't know that it was a failure, but it was on the network, so you had to go on the network to watch it. Like, if it was on, if they, and we also talked about all this, do we make the third hour of Raw 205 live? Do you, there's a million conversations, and call it WWE Turbo or something. And it's, is there a million ways to go? Yeah. Is that the way we tried it? Yeah. Did it succeed? I don't think so, but I don't know what we were out to get. Like, it was almost a hidden little gem. You had to really go in there and find 205 to watch it. And I think if you could go back on there right now and watch it in the archives, there's great, and I mean great, wrestling matches on there. Yeah. And also when I forget what his name was, Jack
Spade,
Jack
Sparrow,
Jack. He was a
Frost,
British guy who had handlebar mustache, and he jumped off the top rope with an umbrella one time.
Jack Horner sat in the corner.
Little Jack Horner.
Curds and Whey.
Jack.
That was the tag team name.
Dom.
Jack, dang it, I can't remember.
That's a mouthful. I can't believe I can't remember. He's a real pale kid. He just got a ton of tattoos, and I think he's MMA fighter now.
Gentleman Jack Gallagher.
That's him. Who told you that?
Nobody.
You lie like a dog.
Jack Gallagher's here. Come on in.
Here, Jack. Long time listener.
No, Gentleman Jack Gallagher.
That's right.
He was fun, man.
He was fun, and he could work. He was awesome.
All right, second match. Elias beat Bobby Lashley in a guitar on a pole match.
Yeah.
6 minutes and 14 seconds. Originally billed as whoever climbs the ladder and gets the guitar could use it. It was changed to whoever gets the guitar wins. Elias wanted to sing Do You Know the Way to San Jose. Lashley interrupted him. Elias tried to climb early, but Rush went over to tip the ladder. Elias threw Rush out of the ring.
Yep.
Lashley gave him a belly into the ladder. In the end, he went to hit Lashley with the guitar. Excuse me. And Rush jumped on his back. Elias threw Rush off, but gave Lashley a spine buster on the ladder.
Yeah.
And Rush gave him a frog splash.
Do you remember Leo Rush? You know who You know who you're talking about, Leo Rush?
Yes, we had an episode earlier where I said he didn't show up to the show.
My bad.
Leo no-showed. We didn't know. 2 stars from them, but these two on Raw were having some really entertaining segments leading up to this.
Yeah.
And then we get a guitar on a pole match. It's a very interesting thought.
Did you ever see in WCW when they did the Viagra on a pole match?
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say.
Well, I'm just saying.
Double J right now.
This ain't that bad. I'm just saying, in comparison, this guitar on a pole, because we talked about it. If you just get it, if you just can use it, you might not necessarily win the match.
Right.
Just because you can use it. So they said, okay, if you get it, you win. Then you kind of come hit the guy, jump on the back. I don't know.
Everybody calls me Clone Rand Thompson, so I hate to quote him, but if I can for just a second, and we try not to cuss here, but
yeah, you
Dog, who booked this shit? Who did it?
Was it represented on the blue brand or the red brand?
I
think Elias and Bobby Lashley were Raw.
No, they were on Raw. Yes, for sure.
Yes. So I didn't.
Okay, that's all we need to know. Moving on. R-Truth.
I want to make that crystal clear.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to give a name. That's why I'm just asking. I needed to know if it was you. All right. R-Truth and Carmella won the mixed match challenge over Gender and Alicia Fox, 5:45. R-Truth and Carmella have a great interest to open the show. The crowd was into this.
Yep.
They did more than the R-Truth and Carmella matches in the tournament. Carmella super kicked Fox, but Mahal saved. Carmella reversed to Fox pin attempt into the cone of silence for the submission. So, at least in theory, Carmella and R-Truth both enter the Royal Rumble at 30.
At number 30.
They also get a vacation anywhere in the world they want to go.
Yes, I remember that.
Carmella talked about Barcelona, Paris, or Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, that would be beautiful.
And R-Truth said he already filled out the form before the season, and they're going to Stamford, Connecticut.
Yeah, it's beautiful that time of year, too.
1.5 stars from the Observer.
Well, you know what I mean? First of all, stars and cars and candy bars. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
Stars don't matter on matches, but it does matter when you're listening and rating this podcast.
Oh,
and that's why we encourage you, no matter where you are, to give us a 5-star review and let us know about it. And it's time for our
the 5-star review
of the week.
We don't have a 5-star.
Oh, I know, says Night Train Minifield, which is a great name.
Night Train Minifield.
Finally, a candy liquor that can keep up with the Road Dogg. I know that when the show airs, I'm in for so much needed laughs, and the week is almost over. My thankful minute is you guys being yourself and overcoming obstacles while reflecting on it with amusement. How about that?
Wow. Night Train Minifield.
That's a great name.
That is. That's the boxer that's coming in the next Creed. You know what I mean? Night Train Minifield. He's from Bucksnort, Tennessee.
Bucksnort?
Yep.
Okay. All right, let's get back to...
Just a little backstory. His father was a moonshiner. And,
really?
Yeah, his mama run a whorehouse up there south of Wahitchka. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know.
Wahitchka?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Next match, Sheamus and Cesaro retain the SmackDown titles in a 3-way over Kofi and Xavier Woods and the Usos in 12-20. Byron Saxton was ill this week, so David Otunga filled in on this and all the shows. You very quickly realized how little he brings to the table.
I don't think that's fair.
Says the Observer.
Yeah. They're not being fair.
The match moved well and was good, but not as good as they usually are on big shows. It ended with an exchange of big moves, ending with Kingston doing the Nesty plunge dive out of the ring.
Yeah.
In the ring, Sheamus hit Woods with a brogue kick for the pin. Crowd was into it. Biggest pop were the Usos super kicking over and over. 3.25 stars.
Yeah.
We mentioned it. You kind of joked about it. What'd you think of David Otunga on commentary?
Well, so maybe commentary's not what he's supposed to do. You know what I mean? But it's to say he brings nothing to the table. I don't think that's... The dude looked great. The dude was a shoot lawyer. The dude was married to one of the singing stars of the songbird of our generation.
Whoa.
What was her name? Jennifer Hudson.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, I don't think so anymore, but they have a child together, and he was married.
Wow.
Heck yeah. So don't bring nothing to the table, bro.
How about that?
He's probably getting daggum child support right now.
I'm trying to see. Oh, yeah, they broke up in 2017. Yeah, they do have a... How about that? Good for him.
Yeah. He's a super nice guy, too.
Is he?
Nice guy. Yeah. Super babyface.
Also, while we're on this match, there's always been a lot of talk of, quote, too many super kicks by some people.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on that, since the Usos did a lot in this match?
Look, I'll tell you, I went into this new era of I super kick you, you stagger back and hit the ropes. I go to super kick you again, you duck it and super kick me. I hit the ropes, you throw a clothesline, but I turn around and we line each other and just stand there and look at each other. I really went into that kicking and screaming, but if that's where we're going as a you know, from an in-ring standpoint, and it seems like from the hardcore fans, that's where they want us to go, you know, or that's where they want the new guys to go. They're just going there. You know what I mean? They're just doing it. And they were doing it everywhere, and they're doing it here now. And so it's just, I don't know, it's just the way of the world, it looks like to me, the way of the wrestling world. And so if you're an old timer like me, you either get over it real quick or move on, you know?
Hey, Dog, I want to tell everyone about an amazing new app called VITA.
VITA.
They've
you know VITA is my mother's first name.
Is it really?
Yep.
Well, how about that little tie-in?
Yeah,
for
that
you
feels good.
listeners?
When I saw VITA on our you know, slated, I was like, that's.
You thought we were going to talk about your mom?
I thought about my mom. No, I didn't, but I thought about her, and it made me smile.
They are created a new form of advertising that eliminates spam and allows everyone to get paid for their time and attention, Dog.
Whoa.
Think about that. If you're going to watch an ad, they
Yeah.
want to take care of you for watching that ad.
Wow.
So you simply go to VITA.io. That's VIDA.io. Is that how your mom spelled it?
Yep, same.
How about that?
I
You
know.
download the VITA app, select a free second phone number, so you no longer have to worry about giving away your personal number.
Oh,
Dog.
what? What?
Then when a telemarketer, listen to this. This is my favorite part. When a telemarketer calls your VITA number, they have to pay to get their message through to you, Dog. And the best part is the app is completely free. Brands are finally realizing the value of rewarding their customers for their time and attention. Our new sponsor, Crowd Health, who we told you about earlier, is using VITA. And it's not only a fun way to support the show, but you also earn money in the process.
Wait,
So
what the?
Oh,
yeah. Sorry.
How about that?
Yeah.
So please,
So we're all making money here.
everybody.
Everybody's making
the
money.
Sponsor, the app, the person
Except
who
for
downloads the app.
except for the spam caller.
Yeah, they got to get through.
He's
They
coming
gotta
out of
pay
pocket.
you.
Yeah.
They're going to call you and spam you, but
Yeah.
they're going to put money in your pocket first.
Yeah,
That's
you better
pretty
come
awesome.
off some. Yeah, come off some change.
So, if you want to try it out today, download the app VITA.io, or you can call the number 509-WRESTLE and follow the link. That's 509
Wrestle. I thought you were
Nine-
going to say the numbers.
I was 973-7853. That spells wrestle. Help support the show and support yourself. And right now, if you call right now 509-WRESTLE, you're going to earn $1 just for downloading. They're going to pay you for downloading the app, Dog.
It's basically paywalling your phone. I just read there on there.
How about that?
Holy mackerel!
That's
Yeah,
pretty
this
strong.
we got VITA, VITA.io.
And we thank
Check it
VITA
out.
for supporting You
Thank
Didn't
you,
Know
VITA.
podcast.
Yep, paywall.
And supporting our listeners. They're
Yeah.
supporting our listeners, too.
Incredible.
All right, Dog. Next up, Braun Strowman beat Baron Corbin in a TLC match. 2 minutes and 31 seconds. He noted Corbin did an interview and talked about becoming the full-time GM, ordered a 10 count so he could get a forfeit win. Strowman came out at even with his arm in a sling. He noted it being a no DQ match, so if anyone wants to help him, it would be legal.
Oh my word!
Well, they helped him.
This
Apollo
sounds
Crews,
like shenanigans.
Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, Fergal McDevitt, Finn Balor
All
came
the
out with
people
chairs.
that he has oppressed in the past year as the
Heath-
general manager of Monday Night Raw. Baron Corbin, you son of a bee sting.
Heath Slater took off his ref shirt and punched Corbin.
What?
They all beat him down with chair shots. He escaped and tried to run off. Out came Kurt Angle, chased Corbin back to the ring and pounded on Corbin with chair shots. Everyone hit their finishes on Corbin, and Strowman pinned him. It was announced Corbin is out as general manager, and Brock Lesnar versus Strowman will headline the Rumble. 1 star from the Observer.
You know what?
Everyone,
I'm going to be honest with you. That sounded really entertaining
Yeah.
and a really cool way to get around somebody being injured and a really, you know what I mean? Like creative and enjoyable and made sense, and all the people he did wrong are now making it right. And boo, They didn't do a Hurricane Rana or a Sosaplote Plotte. Well, I'll tell you what. Suicidal Plotte into macaroni. I don't know. I don't want to say anything bad.
Also, by the way,
what about VITA.io?
He took all
you paywall. You make your phone a paywall. I can't get over it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Also, I hope he shook all their hands since he took all their finishers.
Bless his heart. If they didn't,
I hope they shaked his hand. This is part of so many bigger stories, by the way, dog.
Yeah.
The wind down of Kurt's career. We start here. Yeah. And we got the Brock and Strowman angle as well. But like you said, I thought it was a fun little segment for a TLC match, and doesn't burn the gimmick out for later.
No, and it's
like you said, creative as hell.
Man, it's fun. You're gonna see all that crap, and so we talked about. I totally forgot that was the way they executed the match. We talked about how to execute the match.
Yeah,
it was genius, in my opinion. Of course, 1 star. So what do I know? I know the Big Dipper from the Little Dipper.
Natalya beat Ruby Riott in the tables match in 12:39. Natalya went to tackle Riott, who moved, knocked Liv Morgan off the apron and through a table. Morgan was on the ground crying. Natalya slapped the hell out of Riott and said, "You messed with my family, bitch."
What? You kiss your mother with that mouth, Natalya? Yuck.
Natalya power slammed Sarah Logan through a table. Riott pulled out a table with Jim Neidhart on the table.
I remember that.
Then the table fell on Natalya. She sold it, but that looked terrible, said the Observer. Natalya then pulled out a table with Ruby Riott's photo on it.
We had a table made with Ruby Riott's photo on it.
She put on a Jim Neidhart Foundation ring jacket and sunglasses, pointed to the sky. Riott went for the Frankensteiner off the top, but Natalya blocked it. Powerbombed her through the Ruby Riott table. 2 stars. Who cares? Quite the tribute.
2 stars.
Yeah, I don't care about theirs.
Oh.
I meant who cares about their stars?
Yeah.
Awesome tribute to Jim Neidhart.
Yeah, agreed.
Got any fun Jim Neidhart stories?
Probably the one everybody's heard, where it was like one of the worst matches I've ever had in my career, where I went to, I think it was Shotgun Saturday Night. You could probably still find that somewhere. The real Double J, Jesse James, versus one half of the Hart Foundation. Yeah. And so I went over to talk to him before the show, and I said, we're working on that show. Anything you want to do? He said, can you sell for 7 minutes? Or it might have been 8 minutes. You sell for 8 minutes? And I said, yes, sir. And he said, okay, I'll see you out there. And that was
it.
Yeah, that was it.
Did you sell for 7 minutes?
I did. I sold for 8, to tell you the truth. And though I felt like it was my worst match of my career, I watched it back and it was, Dom said he found it already. I watched it back and it was like not that bad. Like, yes, it was boring because he just pounded meat. Like, even if we would have gotten a hold and I would have fought up out of it, and maybe we did that once or twice, I don't know. But it just felt like really like, ugh. I felt like we could have had a good match. And so when I watched it back, it wasn't so bad. But that, and then when he stole the Godwin's Cadillac, was supposed to turn it back in, and he wasn't seen again. Was it a rental car? He wasn't seen again for like a week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but look, who hasn't done that? Am I right? Oh, you haven't? Okay.
I've never stolen a Cadillac. No, that's a...
Well, how boring are
fact.
you? I will steal a Mercedes, but not a Cadillac.
Notice I said I've never stolen a car. I said I've never stolen a Cadillac.
Okay, roger that. Roger that.
Okay. It was a U-Haul truck. Don't judge me.
I'll rub your mad spot.
Next up, Fergal McDivitt's back, baby.
Oh, yes, he is. Abs and all.
Finn Balor pinned Drew McIntyre 12:08.
Imagine that. The irony
of Finn pinning Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. Wait. We're talking about wrestling still, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you said pinning.
Yeah, he pinned him. Crisp and hard-hitting, said The Observer.
Yeah, I like that. I like that thought.
As they go, the finish saw Dolph Ziggler come in out of nowhere, my friends.
Oh.
He was there the whole time, but he super kicked McIntyre. McIntyre then kicked a chair into Ziggler's face and brought a chair into the ring. Balor gave him a drop kick.
Yeah, the John Woo.
Into the chair, into McIntyre's face. Used the coup de grace.
Yep, the coup de grace.
For a pin. 3.25 stars for this match.
Oh,
First of all,
Fergal's been to Japan, so you automatically get 3 stars, I think.
Just because he's there and involved,
in the
right?
Observer, yeah.
First of all, how good are both these guys? Just have them. They tagged up recently.
Yeah, well, that's what I was talking about. The irony is now he's not in Judgment Day, but he definitely fought with them at War Games, and so very cool to see. Very cool to see that these guys are still on top of their game and only getting better. So yeah, I'm down for it.
Yeah, 5 years ago, and they're still on the way up.
Yeah.
Is what I would say.
Yeah, 100%. Fergal McDivitt, if you ask me, he's the best he's ever been right now. And I know there's a lot of people
That's
going,
saying a lot.
Bullet Club, 74. He was with Jesse Ventura. I don't know why. He's not. He said none of that is true. I don't know why I did any of that, including the voice. But the Viper and the Snake, what are you going to do? Jumping Jack Gallagher. VITA. Are you just saying things you're reading now, Brian? Are you just?
You know what I want? I want a T-shirt that said I was in Bullet Club 74 with Jesse Ventura. That's what I want. I don't know if we can do it, but I'd love to wear that somewhere.
I was on the JV Bullet Club.
Yeah, no, it needs to be 74. I don't know why Bullet Club 74.
JV Bullet Club 74.
I was on Bullet Club 74 with Jay Ventura.
Right. But honestly, I think he's come into his own. I think he's having fun now, and that's the difference. Hate me if you want to. I'm just going to hate you back.
Next up, Rey Mysterio beat Randy Orton in a chairs match. Just chairs.
Yes, just chairs.
We don't have tables and ladders here, guys.
No ladders, no L's, no C's.
Not in the budget. We got plenty of chairs.
Just T's, dog.
11:33. According to the Observer, this wasn't good at all. As it was all about chair shots, and that got redundant. Mysterio did a slide out of the ring while holding a chair and a splash on Orton on the floor. Mysterio missed a flying Fez press.
Yeah. I used to
out
do
of
those
the ring.
A lot.
The finish saw Orton set up 4 chairs in a row.
Yep.
Went for the RKO on the chairs. Mysterio blocked him, ran on the chairs, gave him a head scissors, and used a victory roll for the pin.
Yeah.
1.5 stars.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably don't like Orton or something.
Was this too many chair shots in one match? Or
It's a chair match.
is it the record for most chair shots in a match? Do we know?
I don't feel like it was. Like, have you ever seen The Rock hit that one dude at Mankind like 27 times with a chair shot? And that's when the Observer went like, 33 stars. Jesus Christ, man.
Here's my question.
Jump up a rope.
Again, this is jump up a rope. Again, this is me jumping up a rope with somebody who's never been in the business.
Yeah.
Because we hinted on it earlier. You got Mysterio and Orton, and we're doing the chair shot match with them. Did we kind of waste that, or is it you never know what's happened? We got to kind of try things and see if things work or not.
I don't know if you waste it. I think it's a gimmick pay-per-view. So
if it would have been awesome, it would have been awesome. Maybe is that it?
Yeah. Well, look, I would argue go back and watch it for yourself and don't believe
the Observer.
Yeah, that don't believe that just because they don't like it doesn't mean it wasn't good. That's for dang sure. Lord have mercy, I wouldn't have made a dime in this industry if it was up to them. But it's not. So watch for yourself and be entertained, or don't be. But these guys make a living off of loving you. So whatevs, 33 stars.
Next up, Ronda Rousey beat Nia Jax to retain the Raw Women's title 10-47. Mm-hmm. The Observer said this was actually great. They spent the weekend off the road so they could spot out their match.
That right there is their highlight. They all get to look at each other now and go, we know they took the time off the road to rehearse their time at their match. Okay, you got over with all your smart mark friends. You found you got the hot info that they walked through their match prior to executing it. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is a luxury others don't have, Dog. But even so, it's amazing how good Rousey is when you consider it's been 8 months since her first match. The finish saw Jax tease a punch, but Rousey got a flying armbar in the middle for a submission after a Tamina distraction. 3 3/4 stars. Dog?
Wow.
We have mentioned that they did get the weekend off and got to do that. You said that's probably not as rare as the Observer thinks it is.
Especially not for a big event like this.
So when you look back on it now, 5 years ago, you credit Jax or Rousey for this being that good?
I said this before, man. You don't have a good one with just one person in there being good. You know what I mean? It's if the other person sucks, it's hard to have a good one. And so that's just, that being said, I'm not saying it can't possible. It's not possible, because I've seen the likes of Brad Armstrong's and others who could have a good match, literally with the proverbial broomstick. But I credit them both. And look, I credit Ronda because she did come in and learn really quick, but she was a fan of the game, so she knew what to do. She just had never done it. You know what I mean? And she's an athlete and a tough individual, you know what I mean, who's game as far as the fighting game, being a fighter. And so I think I credit her with really catching up really quick. But I also, even some of this later stuff that she just did recently with I think Raquel Gonzalez, like some of her best work was here recently, but she did great here. I just credit both of them. And the story was that big punch from Ronda. Could she blast Rousey's face all over the place like she did Becky Lynch? And that's why they used it in the finishing sequence and all that. I thought it was smart. I thought it was good. I thought it's, again, even Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax, you go like, who's going to win that one? You know what I mean? And that's what I said about Nia Jax earlier. She's a formidable opponent, no matter who, when, where, or why. She just carries herself that way.
Next up, Daniel Bryan beat AJ Styles in 23:55 to retain
that's a wrestling match.
WWE
That's
title.
manual labor right there.
4 3/4 stars from the Observer, Dog.
They both have been to Japan, and so but look, it was a great one.
Quickly talk about this. You talked about Bryan turning heel, and it was fun to kind of start creating this.
Yep.
So let me ask you this, as somebody who's been in that writing room a lot, even if you like some person as a babyface better than as a heel in the long run, whatever the case may be, to me, it seems like, being a creative mind, it's kind of fun when somebody, like for Bryan turning heel, it seems kind of fun because you've got everything now on the table, right?
A clean slate. He can do anything, and
anything
he can
create
anything. Yeah, we talked about it earlier. He's very collaborative, so we work together and come up with what we think will make these people not like him. You know what I mean? And I think it worked. And I think the wrestling, look, you're always going to, I don't know why I just spit all over the camera, but you're always going to respect the wrestling ability of the two of the individuals we're talking about, AJ and Daniel Bryan, whether they're heels or baby faces or whatever. And maybe one of them was with Jesse's Bullet Club in '74. I don't know. I know Fergal was. I'm just saying maybe AJ was too. He kind of made it cool. Yeah, these two guys are aces. You know what I mean? Anytime you put them in the ring, no matter what role either one's playing, they're going to have a great competitive match. And I'll tell you why. Daniel Bryan, when he wrestles, it's real. For one thing, he hits you really hard, kicks you really hard, wrestles you, ties you in a knot. Like he can do all that. And AJ thinks it's real too. So it's so the match that they have is hard hitting and, dare I say, but borderline flawless when it comes to in-ring product. You know what I mean? Considering those two guys.
All right, next up, Dog. Dean Ambrose beats Seth Rollins. You know,
I know where you were going with that.
Seth Rollins, 22 minutes, 53 seconds to win the IC title.
Yep.
This was a good match. At the end, the finish saw Rollins slap him in the face and say, "This is for Reigns." Yeah. Ambrose hit Dirty Deeds out of nowhere for the pin. 3 stars.
3
Dog,
stars.
let me ask you this. You've put together a lot of shows. Back-to-back 25-minute matches. Do y'all think about that? Is that planned? Is that too long? What's your thinking looking back on it now?
Look, you could always second guess and 100th guess your order. You know what I mean? There's some things will pop up as obvious to you when you see the show. This should totally open it. This should totally close it. Whatever. But some of the ones in between you get wrong. You know what I mean? And this is one where you go like, man, they did just have to follow that awesome 25-minute match.
Right.
But this one was a personal story. So I think, the first thing I hear when I think about it is totally different. One's about 2 great wrestlers and a title. And to me, one's about personal story. And so I don't know. I just think about it as 2 different types of match in my mind. But yeah, it might have been too much to put back to back.
Here's what I think too. Maybe, and again, I've never done any creative, but my mind is, at some point we got to have back to back 25-minute matches. Just in the history of wrestling, like
yeah, you're going to have some long ones back to back, and you're going to.
And if it hits, it hits.
To me, I would look more like, is it 2 men just wrestling in a singles match? Is the next match the same match? That, to me, if you can avoid it, is what to avoid. You know what I mean? Like
this seemed different.
Yeah, it seemed different. It's just us talking about it right now seemed a lot more personal on that one. But look, did we make a mistake? Won't be the first, won't be the last.
All right, next up, Asuka beat champion Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair to win the SmackDown Women's title in a TLC match. 22 minutes and 31 seconds. The Observer says, just a wild match. They had a lot going on here. At the end, they were all climbing. Flair and Asuka were climbing the ladder. Lynch set up another ladder to also climb. Flair knocked Asuka off the ladder, even though Flair was on the ladder under the belt. She climbed off her ladder to Lynch's ladder, and both were on top. Rousey then came out and tipped the ladder over. Flair and Asuka both fell off the ladder onto the ropes. Asuka climbed up for the title win. 4.5 stars. I remember this, Dog. This was crazy to watch. It was wild. Rousey's interfering. I did not see Asuka winning that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I loved about it. Nobody.
It was
did.
Awesome.
Yeah, nobody saw the finish coming. Those 3 women have great chemistry. They're all 3 great at what they do. And so, yeah, look, it's another one like, you're gonna. I knew all the SmackDown matches were gonna be great. You know what I mean? And the Raw matches were gonna be great too. I just wasn't as married to them as I was the SmackDown ones. For obvious reasons. But like this was one like I was again very proud of the blue team. You know what I mean?
Also, you said earlier, we talked about it. Do you have everything for WrestleMania set up? You think you got most of it, but this gets the title on Asuka, which is a good move. Everybody's fine with that.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you free up Becky and Charlotte for what looks like a WrestleMania push as well.
Yeah.
This was a perfect ending kind of for this story arc.
I think so. I mean, and look, and you know, it's easy to watch the show and go, oh, they should have done this or they should have done that. Yeah, because you already saw what happened. Right. You know what I mean? You have the luxury of seeing the decision that was made, and then you go, oh, they should have done that. Well, that might have worked too, but did you figure if you'd have went that way, these dominoes would have? There's so many intricacies that go into the planning and the dominoes falling, and you just go like, oh, we could, yeah, we should have done that, but so-and-so's off for 6 weeks next, you know what I mean, or whatever, and so just things happen, you know.
All right, Dog. By the way, I encourage everybody, if you have not seen it or if you haven't seen it since it happened, go back, go to the Peacock, and go watch that match, man. It's just a great match.
Incredible. Like, a lot of great wrestling on that. I guess we would call it a PLE now. But go back in the archives and watch that thing because there's some gems on there.
All right, Dog. Before we get out of here, we're going to promote next week. We haven't announced this yet. We have another show next week with our
guest?
friend.
With a guest on it.
Yeah, with a guest.
And our friend Dylan Postel, or you may know him as Hornswoggle.
Swoggle's going to join us, man.
Swoggle is joining us, and we're happy to have him, and we're going to have a good time talking to his butt. I hadn't seen him in a while either, so that'll be fun.
If you would like us, before we get out of here, if you'd like us to talk about your business, especially if it targets 25 to 54-year-old men, there's no better place to advertise than right here with you didn't know. How cool would it be if you have a T-shirt, an event, a product, whatever the case may be, the man Road Dogg will talk about your stuff. All you got to do is go to advertisewithdogg.com and find out more. We have new sponsors. We have sponsors that have been with us since the beginning.
Yep.
You know why? Because it works.
It works.
Super targeted audience, very little waste. Go to advertisewithdogg, DOGG.com. Before you leave, like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating on all platforms. You could be our 5-star rating of the week.
That's our way of bribing you into giving us 5-star reviews.
That's a good call. Follow us.
5-star review. Coming back at you. Yeah, there was something.
That was a Fraggle Rock thing.
Yeah, that was a Fraggle. Was that Fraggle Rock?
Down at Fraggle Rock.
No, it was new Zoo Review. I don't know. Maybe a new Zoo Review. I don't know. Maybe I'm just.
Maybe they stole it from Fraggle Rock.
Maybe they did. Son of a bee sting.
Follow us on social media at Brian R.D. James, at the Casio Kid, the show, at You Didn't Know Pod.
Sorry.
You can find our exclusive YTXs over at bagofjohnsons.com. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Let us know what your favorite match of this premium live event pay-per-view was.
Yeah, that's cool.
Comment below, especially if you're watching on YouTube. Let us know your favorite match of this deal. If you want exclusive merch, go to boxofgimmicks.com. And, Dog, this was a fun one.
Hey, it was a fun walk down memory lane. It wasn't that long ago. A lot of these guys are still going and going strong. So I would urge you to go back on the Peacock, like we mentioned, and watch it all and check it all out and see what you think. See if I'm right, wrong, or indifferent. It doesn't matter what you say about me because what you think about me is none of my business. I'm going to still be here doing my dang thing and telling my to suck it. So 2 tears in a bucket. And if you didn't like this episode, suck it.
Down at Fraggle Rock.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and there's one thing we can all agree on. Health insurance sucks. It's confusing, expensive, and frustrating. Well, for the last several weeks, we've been telling you that there's a better way. Welcome to the alternative that is Crowd Health, created to get rid of the headaches of health insurance. Here to tell us more about Crowd Health is the founder, Andy. Andy, what's going on, man? How are you? Thanks for jumping on.
Hey, thanks for having me. Doing great. Can't complain.
Man, in reading your story, I can see why you looked for an alternative. For our listeners that don't know, tell us why you started an alternative to health insurance.
Yeah, it was right around this time of year, several years back, where I was coming off of my old company and so didn't have health insurance. Most of us get health insurance through our companies. And so I went to Obamacare, healthcare.gov, and got a plan. It was $1,200 for me, my wife, and my 2 girls. And I kind of joke, it worked until I had to use it. My little one, who was 1 at the time, was having recurring ear infections. And so we went to the ear, nose, and throat doctor, who said she's got a hole in her eardrum. You have to get surgery. So head off, got surgery, 15-minute procedure, got the bill, $8,000 for 15-minute procedure. Wow. And little did I know, the insurance company a few weeks later was going to send me a note saying that they wouldn't pay for it. It was medically unnecessary. They wouldn't pay for it. So it was at that point where I was like, man, this health insurance does suck. We have to come up with an alternative. You know, I've been super fortunate. I can write an $8,000 check, but most people in the United States can't write an $8,000 check, and it's putting people into bankruptcy. So we've got to figure out a different way to do healthcare that keeps people from going into bankruptcy, is easier to use, allows them to get better care. And so that's why I started Crowd Health.
I've actually read where over 250,000 people, over 250,000 families with insurance still wind up declaring bankruptcy due to medical bills. Can that be right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a crazy thing about our system, is you can have health insurance and have a medical event and still go bankrupt. So for my example, a pretty benign thing happened. This happens to lots of kids all over the place, holes in the eardrum because of recurring ear infections, and it was $8,000. So, you know, if you don't have $8,000 in the bank, that's going to put you into bankruptcy. The other thing I found out is with some of these Obamacare plans is in 2021, it's the last data that we had, 48 million claims were denied. So, you know, I was, you know, one of those people. One of my claims were denied, and it's fine if, you know, $100 office visits denied. But what happens when a $8,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 claim gets denied? You know, that puts people in really financial, you know, difficulties. So what we've done with Crowd Health is say, hey, you pay the first $500 of a health event. We have a community that will help you out with the rest. And so if you go to the ER, if you have a surgery, if you have a, you know, any big health event that you can think of, cancer, it's $500. Anybody should be able to come up with $500. And so, you know, over the last 3 years with 6,000 people as a part of Crowd Health, nobody's had medical debt. Nobody's gone into bankruptcy as a result of healthcare. And so that's something we're super proud of.
Hey, something I wanted to ask you. I know one of the things that everybody hates about traditional insurance is having to choose a doctor from a certain network. With Crowd Health, can you only still see certain doctors, or how does that work with Crowd Health?
When I was starting the company, it's the first thing my wife asked me, because she would be always the one that would ask me, is my OBGYN in network or out of network? Yeah, that's a great thing. You can go anywhere you want. You know, we don't limit where you can go. So if you have a favorite doc or pediatrician or whatever, there's no networks to worry about. All we ask that you do is go and say, hey, can you give me the cash pay rate? And typically that cash pay rate, funny enough, is 30 or 40% less than what they get from a big health insurance plan. And so that's what makes this model work, is we're just getting way better rates for our members than even health insurance plans the biggest companies on the planet get for their members. So that's the beauty of this system.
Well, Andy, you've told us how it works when you go to the doctor, but what about prescriptions? How do prescriptions work with Crowd Health?
Yeah, here's the great thing, right? So if you have a health event, like I said before, is you commit to paying the first $500, and then anything after that, then we submit to the community. So whether that's a follow-up visit, whether it's imaging, so let's just say you have cancer, and there's going to be many doctor visits, many imaging visits, many prescriptions. All of those things are included in that health event. So you'll pay the first $500 of that health event, and then we'll submit the rest to the community. And so those prescriptions and everything is included in that. And we've done, you know, everything from a $49 pediatrician visit to a several $100,000, you know, brain hemorrhage. We've got 5 or 6 cancer cases going on right now. We've had, I think, 150 babies. So, you know, it's not only for these little events, but these big events too, which include, you know, some of these prescription drugs that are really, really expensive.
Let's talk about the cost. I see where it's simply $175 for an individual, or just $575 for a family, or 4 or more. Mm-hmm. What do you get for those fees, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, you only, so any of the big events, you get the 500, it's $500, and then you have a community. What you get is a community behind you who will help you with any of those big events. But the other cool thing that you get is you have a care advocate at Crowd Health. One of the things I hate about health insurance is when I call in, I'm talking to a call center in India somewhere that I'm telling them about my health event, and then they don't know what to do, so they punt me to somebody else. Well, at Crowd Health, you have a person internally that you can call anytime you want to. They're going to help you through and whatever health event that you have. They'll provide you access to also online virtual urgent care. So if you have an urgent care thing pop up, my daughter fell off of her bed a few months back. We called a virtual urgent care. They were able to take care of it, as opposed to us having to go to the hospital to take care of it. You get unlimited virtual primary care, so you can go on your app and there's a primary care doctor that you can talk to pretty much any time of the day. You have talk therapy, so unlimited talk therapy. So if you wanted to have some counseling with an online counselor, you can have unlimited online counseling. So all of these things are incorporated and more into the Crowd Health service.
Well, our listeners already know this, but I want to take a minute here to remind them, because you listen to our show, you can get started with Crowd Health today for just $99 per month, first 3 months, when you use our code WRESTLE to get the health care you deserve. Learn more at joincrowdhealth.com. Andy, thank you so much for coming on and telling us more about Crowd Health today.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, and happy holidays. Be sure to check us out at joincrowdhealth.com. Use that promo code WRESTLE and you'll get Crowd Health started for $99 a month for the first 3 months at joincrowdhealth.com with the promo code WRESTLE.